back to the channel. My name is Michael, I'm the Moto Barista, and here we're talking all things motorcycles and we're drinking some damn fine coffee. What I want to talk to you about today is the Saddlemen Explorer Seat for Harley Davidson. I've had this seat for well over 6 months now, and I've put thousands and thousands of miles on it, and I can now give you a full review on what I think about this seat for both the rider and the passenger, why I chose the seat, what I plan to do with it, and the kind of riders that I think it's suited for. If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel and let's get into it. Okay, so this is the Saddlemen Explorer Seat. As you can see, it's got a nice wide bucket for the rider, and on top here we have a really wide passenger pad too. Now the reason that I originally got this seat in the beginning was first and foremost to increase the pillion comfort. My girlfriend wanted a more comfortable seat so she could enjoy the bike for longer rides. And that's why we chose this one here. It's got a nice wide 12-inch pillion pad. To go with it as well, I have the matching contour pad to mount onto the sissy bar, so it really improves that passenger comfort. Now you may be familiar with the Saddlemen brand. Most famously, they produce their step-up seat, a seat with sharper lines, a more intense lumbar support designed for stunt riding and really made popular by the club style movement. This one is a little bit more laid back. It's got a bit more of a classical design, and it's really designed for putting on some long miles. And that's really kind of where my style comes in. As you know, this bike is all about bringing out that classic sport look, and I think the seat goes with the lines of the bike and the style of the bike that I'm going for really, really well. So let's talk about the shape quickly. We've just gone over the passenger pad already. Like I said, it's nice and wide, so it gives a lot of support for the passenger, and I really recommend looking at getting the contour pad as well, because again, really giving lots of back support, keeping the passenger really secure and feeling really safe. For the rider, we have a nice wide contoured pad. And this allows for a nice dispersion of weight across the entirety of the body, and it allows you to be nice and comfortable in the seat for a long period of time. The actual lumbar support is actually quite generous. It comes up really high, and you can really lean back into your seat when you're cruising and really enjoy the support that it offers. Okay, now what the seat is made of is just as important, if not more important, than the actual shape of the seat itself. And I think this is where really good aftermarket seats really start to separate themselves from the standard OEM seats that come from the factory, and of course the other seats that Harley Davidson and other motorcycle brands produce. When we look at the makeup of the seat, usually we're looking at the type of foam that's used, but with the Saddlemen we're also looking at the insertion of gel, and both of these inclusions are designed in a particular way to really improve rider comfort. So let's start off first with foam, because this is something that all seats are going to have in common. They're all going to have foam in them, but it's the type of foam that's used that really makes a big difference into your comfort, particularly on the long ride. Now with your stock seat, you'll know that it's a very soft foam. Jumping on that, it actually feels very plush and very comfortable, particularly when you jump on it in the showroom or take it for a quick spin for a test ride. It feels nice and soft, and this of course feels really nice to us. But in fact, this is not ideal for longer, comfortable rides. That soft foam starts to break down really quickly, and it starts to create an uneven pressure buildup on our body as we sit in that seat. Not only does that cause pressure buildups, but that also starts to increase the hot spots in those areas as well. So now not only do we start creating painful pressure zones, but also generating heat and sweat in those areas, both of course not ideal for the long distance. So this is where looking at more dense foam comes into play. So it's actually a little bit counterintuitive. We actually want a firmer seat, a firm foam, in order to have more comfort. Now when you sit on one of these seats for the first time, it's going to feel quite stiff, it's going to feel quite firm, and you're going to be thrown a little bit off. I know that I was. But as you start to ride and you start to go longer and longer, you'll notice that you don't begin to fatigue as much, and you don't start building those pressure zones. After 7,000 miles that I've put on this seat, the seats actually start to really break in and start to fit my body, and it's more comfortable than it's ever been. That's exactly what's in the Saddlemen here. We have what they call their progressive density foam. And this is just it's a firmer foam that takes a lot longer to break down. And the foam is packed in really tight, and it takes it longer to break down. It means that you're not going to sink into the seat at any particular point. It's going to give it even support across the body, again improving that rider comfort. Another company, for example, that really focuses on their foam quality is Corbin, which is another famous motorcycle seat. And if foam is more what you're interested in rather than gel, then that's also a good company to look for. So that leads me on to into the gel insertions in this seat. Now a few brands are starting to do this, and Saddlemen also does the same, and they have a layer of gel sitting between two layers of that progressive density foam that I spoke about just before, and that's featured both in the rider seat, also in the pillion pad as well. So everybody benefits from this technology. Now what the gel does is both, again, allow for an even spread of weight to give further support, and it also helps regulate the temperature as well, cooling down the rider and stopping sweat build up. Now I can actually say, on a long distance trip that I put on this, I rode for about 8-9 hours in the first day, and I felt really comfortable, and I never once did I really have any kind of sweat build up, any heat build up. I didn't really have any harsh pressure points, particularly on my tailbone or anything like that. I actually felt really, really good, and I was able to jump back on the bike the day after. So overall, I would say that I've been really happy with my purchase of the Saddlemen Explorer. The actual quality of the seat itself is also really, really nice. It has a vinyl material on top, which makes it weatherproof. I've taken this thing through storms, I've taken it camping through the woods, and it doesn't seem to lose its quality in appearance, and obviously its quality in performance as well. So I really can recommend this seat if this is the kind of style that you're looking for. The kind of riding I think this seat is suitable for is definitely a kind of all-rounder. Performs really well as an around the town seat, as well as performing really comfortably on those long distance rides. Like I said, I did 8 hours in one day with no problems at all. And I've got plans to do lots and lots of miles on this seat and on this bike coming into the summer here in Australia. It's also important to note that when you want to put the power down and want to get it on it through the twisties, the lumbar support holds you in place, really allows you to pull on that throttle and feel comfortable being secure on the bike itself. It really is, I think, a Swiss Army knife of seats, as I guess the Sport Glide is the Swiss Army knife of Harley Davidsons. Now if you're looking for something a bit more sporty, and you're focused more on around the town and riding through the twisties, then have a look at their step-up seat. It's a really cool looking seat, which is really designed for those purposes. This seat that you can see on mine has the sport stitching, I think it's called. It's got more of a classic and subtle look to it, which I really like, but if you want something a little bit more aggressive, you can also get the diamond LS stitching as well. That's also really popular. I think a seat is a really good first upgrade. I think not only does it of course improve the comfort like we've discussed just now, but it also really helps transform the look of the bike a bit. It gives it that custom look. The Saddlemen Explorer I think starts at around the $435 American dollar mark. I bought it directly from the company and they shipped to Australia, no problems. Their service was really, really good. And when I reached out to them with any questions, they were really fast in responding, which, as you know, is really important to me. Customer service with companies is a massive impactor and influencer on the people I like to do business with. I think that about wraps it up for my review of the Saddlemen Explorer. Like I said, I've put lots of miles on and I'm really confident with what I've been able to say about it. Let me know in the comments below what you think to the Saddlemen brand and what you think to the Saddlemen Explorer. Do you like the look of this seat, and have you experienced Saddlemen yourself? If not, let me know what you're riding with, what seat do you have, and if you have any questions about choosing the seat that's right for you, leave them in the comments below and I'll be sure to get back to you. Other than that, be sure, as always, to ride safe, drink some damn fine coffee, and I'll catch you on the next one. All right, peace.